Hi you two, so today we're going to be learning about measurement, and what we're going to learn about first is the tools we use to measure. So the two pictures we have in front of us is a tape measure and some rulers, and we would normally use them to measure length. Now for example, you might use say a ruler to measure a cake tin and see how long a cake tin is. Okay, so then to measure mass or weight, we can use scales. So these might be kitchen scales, bathroom scales. So this one would be our bathroom scales. You might have kitchen scales like this one in your house, or sometimes we see, especially in shops, we might see these sorts of scales as well, which are called balance scales. We want to measure the what is equivalent. So you might have an apple and you want to find out how much an apple weighs. So you might put little weights on your measuring scales until it balances, and then that way you know what weight it is. So using these scales would be an example. So you would use kitchen scales to measure the mass of flour needed in a cake. Okay. So to measure an amount of liquid, you could use a measuring cup or measuring jugs. So for example, to find out the amount of milk to put in a cake, you could use a measuring jug. Okay, so to measure a length of time, you might use a clock here. You might use a stopwatch. So for example, our swimming carnival that's on Friday, we would measure how fast you are or how long you take to swim your lap using a stopwatch. This is an oven timer. Most ovens do have them, some don't, but a lot of, especially the modern ovens, will have a timer to set. And then we have an hourglass, so we often use this one in the classroom as well. So you would use an oven timer to find out how long, say, a cake is in the oven for, and to remind you when to take the cake out so it doesn't burn and be horrible. Alright, so then to measure temperature, you would use a thermometer. So say if you were sick, your mum or dad might have measured your temperature using one of these types of thermometers that they put in your mouth or underneath your arm. And then this sort of thermometer you would use to measure the heat of the room. So for example, you would use a thermometer to find how hot it is in the kitchen. So that could be a couple of examples. Okay, so now you can often find the longest or tallest of the group without needing to measure. You just need to compare. So often arranging objects in order can help you compare. So I'm going to compare the first two just to judge how I'm going to compare this and how I'm going to find out the longest ribbon. Alright, so out of blue and green, they start at the same length, the same starting point. Now I can see definitely blue is taller, so I'm going to put blue up the top. Okay, now I'm going to look at yellow and see if yellow is longer than blue. It is not. Okay, now I'm going to compare it against the second one. Is yellow taller than green? No. Is yellow taller than pink? No. Is yellow taller than red? No. Okay, so we've already established green. Now I'm going to go to pink. Okay, is pink longer than blue? No. Is pink longer than green? No. Is pink longer than red? No. Is pink longer than yellow? Yes. Okay, so yellow is going to go above and pink is going to go there. Now let's have a look at red. Alright, is red longer than blue? No. Is red longer than green? Yes. Okay, so red is second. Alright, now we've done green with blue, and we know green is shorter than red. So let's compare and just see if green is longer than pink. So green is longer than pink, which must mean we don't need to do yellow because we already found out yellow is shorter. Okay, so now we have our order. Okay, so these ribbons have now been ordered into longest to shortest. The longest ribbon is blue and the shortest ribbon is yellow, as we've just figured out. The ribbon that is longer than pink, the pink ribbon, but shorter than the red ribbon, is green. Okay, so now a scale on an instrument can help you measure, so you don't have to do all the guesswork. So, for example, each of these jugs has a scale showing the number of litres. Jug B, which is this one here, has the most juice because it is the only jug holding more than 2 litres. Okay, and we can see this one is not, it's only up to 1. This one's not up to 1, and this one is only at 1, so this one is holding the most. Jug C has the least amount here, okay, has the least, which means the smallest amount of juice because it is only holding less than 1 litre. And then jug A over here and jug D have the same amount because they both hold 1 litre. So this jug over here is holding 1 litre, and we can see looking at the line here, so we look at the lines and the number next to it. So this one is filled up to the 1 litre here. Okay. Okay, now we're going to look at some shapes. So some shapes have special names. So let's have a look at these shapes. Shape A is a triangle. Shape B over here is a square. Shape C is a circle, and shape D is a rectangle. Alright, so any flat shape that has exactly 3 sides is a triangle. Triangles might look different from one another, but if they have 3 sides, they are all the same type of shape. So there are 4 triangles in this group that you can see. Well, actually 5 with this one here. If you include this one, there's 5 triangles in this group of shapes. So that's 1. It has 1, 2, 3 sides. This is 1, 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 1, 2, 3. And this is 1, 1, 2, 3. With this one, 1, 2, 3. So they are all 5 of them are triangles. Okay, and now we move on to a shape that is round like a ring is called a circle. There are 2 circles in this group of shapes. Okay, so a rectangle is a shape that has 4 sides. So we could have a look at this one. It has 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry about that. Okay, so 4 sides, and all the corners of a rectangle must be right angles. So you can see over here that we have a right angle. So that's where 2 lines meet and they make this 90 degree, which is what's in here. So where this line is pointing to, that is a right angle. So they have 4 of them. See, in this corner, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all right angles. Now, there are 3 rectangles in this group of shapes. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, now this one is a square, and a square is a special rectangle where all the sides are the same length. Okay, so a rectangular prism is a 3D shape like a box. A rectangular prism has 6 faces. The faces are all rectangles. So we'll have a look. This top one is a rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. Now this one up here and the one that's underneath it is the same. And then the other sides are all rectangles as well. So a box is made up of all rectangles and there's 6 faces. Okay, so a rectangular prism has 8 corners. These corners are often called vertices. A rectangular prism has 12 edges. So these ones are the corners. These long lines are the edges. Okay. A rectangular prism has 12 edges. The edges are the lines where the faces meet each other. So there is 12 of these in a rectangular prism. Here is another 3D object, and this one's called a triangular prism. Now this one has 5 faces, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the bottom one is 5. 5 faces. 2 of the faces are triangles. So that one's a triangle, and that one over here is a triangle. And the other faces are rectangles, so the other 3. A triangular prism has 6 corners or vertices, so these are our corners. And it has 9 edges. So remember, the edges are where the faces meet. Okay, so there are 9 of those. Okay. Alright, we also have some other objects, 3D objects, and they also have a special name. So we have object D over here, and it is a special rectangular prism that has all of the edges the same length. So they're all the same, the faces are all the same. We then move on to object B, and this one is a cone. Then object A is a cylinder, and object C is a pyramid, but this pyramid is called a square-based pyramid. We can also get triangular-based pyramids as well.